Hi everyone, it's Roger here from What's On at DisneyPlus.com with our weekly Q&A. So this is live here on YouTube. If you're in the live chat, let me know if you can hear me. So this is something that we do every week, and we get to hear questions from our Patreon and YouTube channel members who help support the channel. They help towards kind of keeping everything going, keeping the lights on, paying for the software that we need, all the editing, all the hosting and stuff. All of your support really makes a lot of difference, especially you can join from as little as $2, and there's different tiers and stuff. If you are a YouTube live member, you can actually right now you can join in the live chat. That's an added perk with YouTube. You also get emojis, and you'll get all kinds of stuff. So we've got lots of questions that have been sent in advance, which we go through. Plus, we also get questions from those in the live chat. So you can see here we've got Stephen, we've got Barbara Trolling, we've got Dana, Ryan, and you can all hear me. So that's always a good thing. So before we jump into the first question, as of right now, the What's on Disney Plus website is now completely running. It's back up and running, and we had a major problem last Saturday. It was down for about 6 days where I couldn't get access to it to do anything. We've moved it onto a new server. It's all moving quite nicely now. There is still about 10 months of content missing, so I'm going to be trying to get that all sorted in the next week or so. I'm going to basically have to get somebody in to help recover it, because there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff in there, and over the weekend, just trying to put the stuff from March in there is just taking hours. So as of now, everything's kind of going back to normal routine and just getting the news up. So we'll have the normal videos and all the bits and pieces. But yeah, so literally the last week, the only way I could tell you guys what was going on was through Twitter and doing the daily videos. However, the beginning of the week, there was no news. So it was really kind of quite weird of how it all worked. But let's jump in. As I said, we've got quite a few questions jumping in live, so feel free to keep putting them in. But we're going to start off with the main one that started off. This one came in from Caleb, who says, do you think Disney will make adjustments in terms of releasing new episodes of series on Disney Plus? I know that Obi-Wan Kenobi and Miss Marvel are coming out around the same time scale, and it would be great if Obi-Wan moved on a Tuesday release and Miss Marvel stayed on Wednesdays. Honestly, for me, I would quite prefer them to be on separate days. I don't have a problem with them dropping on the same day, but I think it's going to suck the wind out of stuff. I'm not entirely convinced running them both on the same day is a good idea. I think they should kind of separate them out a bit. One on Friday, one on Wednesday. Hopefully they might change things around a little bit. It feels, I don't know, there's Disney Plus. I mean, you look at the lineup at the minute for April. There's not a lot of stuff in the US, so kind of dropping 2 shows at once, they could spread that out. And I think it will help with audience, with social media and stuff. I'm not sure if releasing them on the same day is kind of if it's gonna work or not. And they do definitely seem to be trying different things out. So, for example, Steven says separate days would be a lot better. Now, they're starting to do this a lot already internationally. They've been doing it a little bit on dropping all the new series all on the sort of Wednesdays. They've started dropping other shows. For example, recently, Dollface season 2 in Australia has been jumping on a Friday. Life and Beth has been dropping weekly on a Friday in Canada and Australia. We're getting the Dropout on Thursdays. We get The Walking Dead on Mondays. And I think we're going to be getting Kardashians is going to be on Thursdays. And also, I'm trying to think, I think Only Murders in the Building will be on a Tuesday. So they are spreading things out a bit. And I definitely feel like that is something that they should do. I quite like having a different day. It's like on a Thursday. I know I've got the Dropout. Tomorrow I know I've got a new episode of The Walking Dead to watch. I quite like having them. So if you've got a number of shows, spread them out a little bit. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You can do that with extra library content. I mean, I think I'm literally was just writing up the Australian list, and on Wednesday, so sometimes there's about 10 new shows dropping with things like Family Guy, The Simpsons, and then you've also got Station 19. So what they've been doing in Canada, they've been dropping today, for example, in Canada, they got new episodes of Bob's Burgers, Family Guy, and The Simpsons. So they've been kind of making Sundays, an animation day. I think they're doing testing in different markets to see what works. So I really think that spreading out the days is good, but they are definitely experimenting. So Katie said, I only know Only Murders in a Building released on Tuesdays on Hulu, Disney Plus. See, they did release them on Tuesdays for the first season. So I definitely think, especially on Star, we need those different days. Ryan says, Does writing up lists take a lot of time and effort? Yeah, well, I'll do that one in a second. Yeah, I think definitely we're going to see. I think we should definitely start spreading them out a little bit. I definitely agree with that one. So let's do that question now. So Ryan says, does writing up lists take a lot of time and effort? It does seem like it would get, but it can get a little. The US lists, I like to generally do them while I find out like new announcements, put them in. So like the US list, generally is nice and easy to do. I have found that with the like the UK list, and I'm just doing it with the Australian list. The UK list is now taking me 4 to 5 hours with the way that I'm formatting it, and I am actually thinking I might need to change how I'm formatting it from the future because it's too big. There's just too much stuff being released. I know Americans would love that problem, but it is taking me about 5 or so hours, I think, at the minute. It's taking a lot. It's the sheer quantity of stuff that we're doing it. So I am considering like changing around the format a little bit in terms of how I do the releases for the lists, because it's just getting kind of just ridiculous with the amount of content that's coming out in the UK. Matt says, what do you think of putting Only Murders on the Building on Disney Plus in the US? I think there's a difficulty with that because it's such a strong show for Hulu. That it's already got a kind of a connection. I think they would be a good idea to put the first season on there. Yeah, and it's kind of like if they put the first season on there, it might kind of get some more people into it. I think we just need an announcement of what the hell they're doing with the US list, because it's definitely going to be going it. Steven says, can I write up the list? No, I do actually take a lot of time and I take a lot of effort in there, because that also then stems off into other articles. I appreciate the help, but yeah, it's kind of one of my main. That's kind of like one of the main things I like to do. Kaylee said, I appreciate you compile a list of what's coming. I've had friends and family ask. Yeah, it's definitely it's just having it all in one place and just finding it. And like I say, it's the major part of what people want to know is finding out what's coming on there. Okay, let's see. We're doing some other questions here. So we'll do the pre-done one questions. So keep popping in your live ones. We'll do the pre-done ones first. Connor says, do you think new seasons of FX shows like Mayans MC, Snowfall, and Better Things will have new season debuting on Disney Plus in favor of BBC? Yes, I do. I'm starting to get the gist, and I don't know if I'm right or wrong on this one, or whether or not Disney are like holding back on some of these shows. It's doing a sneeze on live. At least I got to the mute button. Yeah, I think actually Disney is maybe holding back some of this stuff so it doesn't confuse like Americans and stuff with Disney Plus. I feel like we're starting to see this like gist of like whatever they're doing in the US and some of these like FX shows they don't want dropping at the same time, confusing US audience. And that's my gut on this. I think there's a little bit of going on with this one. I don't think they're going to go to BBC. Elliot says, will Disney Plus have a bundle with our ESPN Plus? I have the Disney Plus bundle for Hulu, and even though I don't watch ESPN Plus. Good news for you. You can actually now change your bundles around a bit. They've added a few other options. You can get like Hulu, and you can add Disney Plus for like $2.99 a month. That's one way of doing it, and therefore you're getting quite a cheap bundle. So that might be a way. If you're not watching ESPN Plus, you might want to like change up what you're doing. Maybe drop the bundle and then just go down to Hulu. Maybe Hulu without ads, and then you can add on Disney Plus for just $2.99. So that's actually probably maybe a cheaper way of doing it. Kayla said, "Do you have any spring allergies?" I used to have it as a kid. I haven't had an issue for being like what was it, hay fever for a long time. So that one was definitely that one came out of nowhere. Micah asks, what are the most exciting things you want to check out in Moon Knight? Okay, so this one's a bit of a fun one. But I have already seen the first 4 episodes of Moon Knight. So the thing I am really excited for right now is episode 5. I'm so ready. It's like there was such a cliffhanger. I can't wait to get into it. And I can't wait for everyone to see these episodes. It's kind of weird with how they've done it with giving us access to so many episodes in advance, because we're all so far in advance. I've got to literally wait 4 more weeks until I can watch a new episode. So I can't wait for you guys to watch it. I think it's a fantastic series, and I really do. It is so good. And yeah, I've watched the first 2 episodes twice. CEO Tan says, do you expect Pixar to announce its upcoming project titles before Lightyear? No, I don't think they're going to announce anything more now till D23. I think Pixar, they tend to do their announcements there. If there's a big Disney Plus presentation, they'll do it there rather than like any other time. Their main focus right now is going to be on Lightyear, and then once that's out, that will be then a couple of months in there. So I think that's the main concern right now. Matt says, what shows do you see coming to the United States in April that's not been announced? So they've added a few things since the announcement over a week ago. They announced Raven's Home and The Ghost of Molly McGee and some Minnie Mouse stuff has been added. As far as guessing, I don't really know. I really find it hard to guess what they're doing. Hopefully we get some National Geographic stuff coming in. But they have got to do some announcements with what they're doing in the United States right now, because April's list is non-existent. There's not a lot on there. You know, where's all the library content? What are they putting on there? There's just very little. Where's the general entertainment stuff? There's got to be some kind of big announcement coming soon, I hope. CO Tan says, what are your picks for the Oscars, especially Best Picture, Best Song, and Best Animated Feature? So in advance of that one, see, I did get a little bit prepared for this one. So we've got the Oscars up here. So as far as Best Picture, so it's like best animated. We'll do them as we go along. So best animated feature: Encanto, Flea, Luca, The Mitchells versus the Machines, and Raya and the Last Dragon. I haven't seen Flea and the Mitchells, though a lot of people have been talking about Mitchells. I personally would probably go for Encanto. I thought that was a really solid movie. I think the music, the way it is, the representation, the story, I think Encanto will win that one. Some other ones here, I'm trying to think, like best documentary. I feel like probably Summer of Soul probably has that one, because it seems to be picking up some bits and pieces. Let's see here what other things we've got here. What did you say? Best song? Let's have a look here. Best music, best original song. So you've got Be Alive, Dos, I can't say that word, Down to Joy, No Time to Die, and Somehow You Do Good. So I'm probably going to go with No Time to Die, because I think that was such a great song. If it had been that We Don't Talk About Bruno, I would have said that. I said, well, that song from Encanto is not, it's good, but it's not the best one, I don't think. Best Picture, so you got Belfast, Coda, Don't Look Up, Drive My Car, Dune, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, Nightmare Alley, The Power of the Dog, and West Side Story. So let me know in the comments what ones you think is going to win Best Picture. Now, I'm going to be honest, I haven't watched Nightmare Alley yet. I have got, obviously it's on Disney Plus here in the UK, and they did send me the Blu-ray this week, so I do need to watch that. This past week, I've just not been in the mood to watch anything like that. So I need to watch that one. Power of the Dog, I thought was so boring. That was absolutely dull. And the only other movie I've looked is Don't Look Up, which was okay, but I don't really think it was amazing. So I'm going to go with West Side Story, just because that was the best one of it. So yeah, that's my pick for that one. Let's see what you guys. Caleb said, speaking of the Oscars, I know that Disney Plus Hotstar is live streaming the event in certain territories, so that's definitely pretty good. Here we go. Let's see what else we've got here. I thought I saw one for the Oscars, but maybe not. But yeah, so I definitely feel like I don't know. Oscars just don't really excite me. Most of them are movies that I don't think are that good, or are arty-farty movies that I just don't really necessarily enjoy. I did try to watch a few of them, but when you've got like movies that all the type of movies that I like to watch are the big movies, and the Oscars just never really relate to that. They just don't. They're more about the movies they want you to watch rather than the movies that we actually watch. So yeah, so I'm not particularly that fussed who wins the Oscars, because it doesn't make a lot of difference to me. Frank said, since Snowdrop came out on both Star and Disney Plus originals, how about Not My Fault Mexico next on Disney Plus? It would be good if they could do. I think they just need to get whatever they're doing in the US sorted. He also said, are Funimation films part of Sony's Disney Plus deal? I think Funimation is separate because that's not part of the Sony Pictures. That's because it's not just Sony, it's like Sony Pictures of how it do it. Tracy, then this one was interesting because she said she couldn't find Moon Knight on her Disney Plus. It seems to have disappeared. Now, it actually turned out that her settings for her, she couldn't see it because it's a little bit more rated. I believe with Moon Knight, it's actually rated much higher. I think it's a 16 rather than your typical like Marvel one. So if you haven't got the mature content, you might not see Moon Knight when it drops in there. And the final one from the pre-done questions, and keep dropping your live ones in. We'll be jumping into them in a minute. Connor asks, when do you think Ryan Murphy's American Crime Story and Horror Story will finally land on Disney Plus? I thought content moving from Netflix to Disney took about 2 weeks. I think it depends on it. They might have to get like the subtitles and the things and all the technical stuff because they pretty much rushed Daredevil and stuff on there. But it wouldn't be at all be surprised if they dropped in April as extra ones. But it does seem odd that it's taking so long to go in. Right. Okay. So let's jump into the live one. So keep coming in because we're going to be going down these ones. So Stephen says, what other British movies would you like to see added to Disney Plus? I'd love to see the James Bond ones, but I can't see that one. It does seem like they're picking up a lot of the independent movies. So I don't know about like other ones that they could pick up. James Bond, I think like things like the Mr. Bean movie, maybe that could be quite fun on there. I think those were the main one. I'm trying to think with British movies of what they could put on there, but I think they're doing quite well with the amount of stuff that they're getting on there at the minute. Is there any Disney cartoon that you'd like to see made into an animation live action movie like the upcoming Chip and Dale Rescue movies that's being added to Disney Plus in May? Ooh. See, Chip and Dale was that was the one I liked. And I know they're working on something with Darkwing Duck already, so that's different. I don't know. I mean, I don't think Gummy Bears would work with animation live action, so I don't think that would work because that's all set in a forest. I'm trying to think what other ones they could do. To be honest, I would like them to do something brand new and do make it like that, a bit like with Roger Rabbit, where they kind of go back and make something brand new, and it's a brand new character that interacts with like today's modern world or something like that. So Stephen also says, what are your thoughts on the She-Hulk rumors going around at the moment with regards to there being potentially a creative issue at the moment? See, I'm going to take this with a very, very pinch of salt. It seems like with these kind of things, it's like there's a rumor that it's not very good, and it's a rumor that, well, where are we getting that from? But also, this tends to fly around a lot with this female-led projects. There seems to be a lot of talk on social media trying to play up with them. I think that's kind of one of the issues I believe with. We've seen it with a lot of these shows, and that's what I think some of this could be. I think some of this is just people kind of trying to make stuff up because they don't like it. I don't know why. I mean, I'm looking forward to it, but I think it could also go the other way, where because this is a female-led show that is going to be a comedy based, which is going to be set in a courtroom, might be very different. And it may be on paper it looked good, but when people actually started seeing it, it's not testing well. But I don't know. I'm going with the idea that there's just people that just maybe don't want a She-Hulk series. Steve says, could you see Sony giving back the rights to Marvel so that Marvel have full control? Well, I don't think them giving anything. There's no giving there at all. It's going to be some money. They're going to pay some money. If they keep making these mistakes with the solo movies, like what they seem to be doing with Morbius, that does make things a little bit tricky. They're going to need a lot of some flops. They're going to need lots of flops in order for this not to work. But if Sony ain't giving the rights back, they're going to have to be. They're definitely going to have to be purchased. You also said earlier this weekend, the director of Morbius did a Twitter Q&A, and in the Q&A, he leaked the post-credit scene for the upcoming movie. And so, right, see, why they're doing this is the same thing that happened with Venom 2, was try and sell that post-credit scene to get the Marvel fans to go, look, you've heard the movie's awful, but go see the end credit because it will connect with another part of the MCU. This is desperation to get people to go. And if you don't want to, and I feel like this is the problem. I feel like that is the issue. They're trying to sell you to go for the end credit scene rather than the actual movie because they know that there's bad publicity coming out about it. They did it with, like I said, they did it with Venom 2. Dana said, have you heard, or if so, listen to Mike Zora on YouTube? He talks about Star Wars stuff. No, never have. I'll need to have a check of that one. Ryan also said, "Is Morbius coming to Disney Plus?" Actually, that reminds me, I need to do an article on that one. So this one is a little bit tricky, right? If you are outside of the United States, no, it's not coming to Disney Plus. If you're in the United States, it will be, but it will be coming in its pay 2 window, which means it has to go to cinema, and then it has to be released on digital. Then it has to go to Netflix for 18 months, and then it can go to Disney's streaming services, which could be Hulu and Disney Plus. So we're talking about 2 years' time before it can be on only in the United States, not outside of the US. Hello to Noxwave. Barbara Trolls, I feel like Disney Plus is an add-on to Netflix and Hulu. It's in the name. I suppose. Here in the UK, I don't view, definitely don't view that one as it. Thank you very much to Chuck for becoming a new member. Thank you very much. Nox says, "Are you ready for Moon Knight on Wednesday?" I'd like. Not really. I've already seen the episode twice, so I'm kind of like, yeah. I'm glad that you guys. I'm really glad. I'm really looking forward to seeing everyone's reactions on Wednesday when this drops. I don't need to. I might watch it. Do I need to watch? I only literally watched it twice last week, so I don't know if I will do. Matt says, "Do you think enough of the Oscar? Do you think I think if they're going to do Oscars live, I think they're not going to announce it. I think they might just throw it up with doing it." Joe says, "Do you think Death on the Nile will release with any extras? Because when the eyes of Tammy Faye came, yeah, I think they should be doing this a little bit more. I am actually. This is the main thing I'm looking forward to watching this week, because I just watched Murder on the Orient Express last night, so I've been wanting to watch that one. Let's keep going down there. Tracy said, "When will the NCIS episodes go in the star section?" Yes, so that'll be where they go on Disney Plus here in the UK. Joe says, "I wonder what happened with the Aftermath on Friday. It didn't release on Disney Plus till 6 p.m. and I'm glad it's officially on." I'm wondering if there was an error or something, or someone realized they didn't do it. Steven said, "Has there been any more things added to the US in April?" I know the past 2 Fridays. Yeah, so they have added Raven's Home Season 5, some new episodes, Minnie Mouse Toon episodes. Also, what else was it? There was The Ghost of Molly McGee. So they have been putting some little things on that list. It's not got as much on this one. So you say you've contacted Disney to gain access. The thing is with screeners is ultimately is you have to have an audience. If you don't have enough people behind you or an outlet or anything like that, that is definitely an issue. So just have to be Disney don't give them out to everyone, because otherwise there wouldn't be a lot of point. But they are very kind of quite strict in the fact that you have to have an outlet for it, and you have to have people that are listening. There's no or on social media, they don't just give them out to everybody. Matt says, "Any news on the Richer Freak from the Walkie Bucks document?" Oh, is that basketball one? I don't know. Is that I don't know, to be honest. I think if that is the baseball or the basketball one, there is one called Rise, which we saw a little tiny few seconds of it at that annual shareholders event earlier this month. That feels a long time ago. Tracy said, "Is Oscar Isaac good in Moon Knight?" Very good. He is really, really good in that one. He is really good. Do you think Moon Knight will be better than WandaVision? I've preferred Moon Knight. I like WandaVision, but I think Moon Knight is just without the last 2 episodes. But at the minute, I really, really like Moon Knight. It's really good. Kelly said, "Today marks the 20th anniversary of Kingdom Hearts. Tatsuya Nomura mentioned that there will be an announcement down the road regarding future projects. Hopefully one is a Disney Plus series." Why they don't do this one? I mean, Kingdom Hearts literally is one that we need here. I've got my Sora Pop, I've got my Heartless plushie back here. Yeah, I am a Kingdom Hearts fan, so I want Kingdom Hearts 4. I mean, it might be 10 years away, but I'd love to see a new one. Steven says he's looking forward to the return of Waterloo Road on BBC. That's cool. And this is here. So Sky Cinema is showing the Oscars in here in the UK. This is the thing with live streams is, like, in America, Disney have the rights, but internationally, it's all over the place. I think when they put out the press release, it's on about 200 different networks around the world. Oh, thank you very much, Ryan, for the super chat. For the, that, thank you so much for your support. That is great. Yeah, it does mean a lot. Thank you so much, Ryan, for that. Ricardo says the Muppet Show is starting to receive dubbing in the US. They are reusing the same dubbing from Latin America for other languages. See, this is the thing. I don't think they like retrospectively going back and doing it. I think they have to in order to have it out in other regions. It's why sometimes we're seeing some delays in stuff being released, is getting all of this stuff dubbed. It's catch-22. They can either get things up early without it, but they need to have these kind of things in there, especially international audiences now. It's so big. Steven said he watched the first Parallels episode on Friday. Looks a great series. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one as well. I think this one's going to be pretty cool. Moving on from there, Ryan says it's a Sony deal coming to the UK. No, they've got other deals already set up here in the UK. Joe says, I'm hoping Jessica Chastain wins the Oscar for Best Leading Actress. She was phenomenal in the eyes of Tammy Faye, and I hope West Side Story wins Best Picture. I need to watch The Eyes of Tammy Faye. They added it on to Disney Plus here this past week, so it's on my watch list. This, like I said, this week I wasn't in the mood to watch a serious film. I'm probably a bit more likely to watch it now. West Side Story is good. I enjoyed it, but is it the Best Picture? It's a remake? I don't know. Matt says, what do you think they'll announce Walt Disney's next studio? Is that when or what? If they're going to do it, they'll do it at the Animation Studios panel or at the movies panel at D23. I can't imagine them doing much more before now, because ultimately they have got, well, it's kind of a tricky thing, really. They've got Strange Worlds coming out later this year, so they don't really need it. Let's see. Kayla said Funimation is now folded into Crunchyroll. What's interesting is Crunchyroll is partnering with Disney for the Wonderland anime series. There's a lot of stuff going on right now with the anime stuff. They did put out a tweet on Disney Plus Japan with some new shows that they're working on. I think they're very much aware that anime is an area to grow in, which is good. Ricardo says, in the UK, are still shows from Fox and ABC available on Prime Video and Disney Plus at the same time? There's some, I know, like Grey's Anatomy and some movies, but I know a lot of them are starting to move in the next couple of weeks, I think, as they start coming down. Steven says, have I seen The Peacemaker yet? No, it's on my watch list to watch it. Matt says, any more international shows coming to Disney Plus in the US? They've not announced anything. There's nothing yet. I don't think they've said anything for April. The US is just all over the place with how they're doing stuff yet. Have you watched Fresh yet? What are your thoughts? Personally, I really enjoyed it. No, I've not watched it yet, Joe. As I said, yeah, last week was just not a week for me to watch movies. Or this last week. Matt says, best picture, West Side Storage. I don't know. It's kind of a weird one, isn't it? Like it's got all these nominations, yet no one went to see it at the cinema. Frank said Stankovic can come to Disney Plus as aired on MTV, but it was distributed by 20th Television. Well, if they've got the rights to it, they could put it on there. Could it be that William Hurt filmed some episodes of She-Hulk before we... Yeah, he could have. I mean, yeah, I'm definitely. Matt says, I think West Side Story will win Best Picture, hopefully. One thing for certain is that women-led MCU projects are held to much higher standards. Agent Carter, Captain Marvel, WandaVision, and Black Widow are examples. Hawkeye is a smaller example. Yeah, there's a lot more pressure on it, and it is horrible. I mean, I don't get it. Yeah, I think it's really weird. Really weird. Ricardo says the Incredible Hulk is coming to HBO Max in the US, so the streaming rights are still tricky. Yeah, it's a complete mess in terms of how they do the release schedule of all this stuff. Ryan says, is the Netflix window happening worldwide now? The Sony, I think you're referring to the Sony deal. That's only for the United States, not for anywhere else. Frank says, I think The Eyes of Tammy Faye could be a surprise release for Disney Plus in April in the US. Isn't it already? I think it's already gone out on Hulu, so they could do it. But I think isn't it also on HBO Max? It's a little bit more tricky with the 20th Century Studios stuff. Chuck says, any news on Reservation Dogs Season 2? I haven't heard anything about Reservation Dogs Season 2. I know it has been picked up, but there hasn't been any talk of it for a while yet. Let's see here. Frank says, "I wouldn't be surprised if Oscar's 22 pop." Yeah, I think if it was, it's gonna be a last minute thing. Definitely. Frank says, "I like how here on Disney Plus Mexico they list Proud Family Loud and Prado as adult animation. I mean, it has mature teens. Yeah, I think it definitely has. It definitely has some themes that are a little bit are. But it's. I think the term adult animation. I think it's a bit of an odd one because where does that come into? What age does it come in? Because most of these shows are aimed at like 14, 15. They're watching it, so that's definitely it. Steven says, "What are your thoughts on Finding Nemo series added to Disney Plus? I'd watch it. I don't think it's going to be a series. I think it's more likely going to be a series of shorts, like Doug Days or something like that one." Ken said, "I saw Triple H's interview on Steven's A Word on ESPN Plus. Really sad to know he can't wrestle anymore, but I'm glad he's still around for the time." I mean, it sounds to me like he really dodged a bullet on. It could have been really bad, and he would. In some ways, now he doesn't get that big ending match, and I think that's definitely to go out on your own terms rather than go out on but it is a shame because I mean Triple H has been a great wrestler the whole time, and I definitely feel like it's a shame he's gone out, but I think it's good that he's got out there and said this stuff so everyone can sort of maybe take the pressure off the idea that he's going to return at some point. Thank you, Elliot, for your super chat. Thank you so much for your support. It means a lot, especially this week. I'm looking on Netflix and I know some Disney Channel stuff like Bunked and Nickelodeon content are still on there. Will they be leaving Netflix? So Bunked is on a different contract. So I believe with that one, they have got the show until it kind of gets cancelled. And so because they've just literally still doing another season, it will still be on there for a little bit more. And Nickelodeon, there's a lot of this stuff as well. These are small little contracts that they got separate. So while Disney brought out a lot of stuff, Bunked was on a different contract by the looks of it, and so it doesn't look like it's going to be there. But yeah, there's no date in terms of when they leave. I'm surprised Bunked was picked up for a 6th season, to be honest, because that means it's going to be on Netflix for a lot longer in the US. Steven says Doctor Strange around July or August on Disney Plus. Yeah, I'm thinking July. I'm thinking it's going to be at least 2 months. I think they're going to give it plenty of time in the cinema. I don't think they're going to be rushing it over in 45 days. I think it's probably going to be more 70 or 80. So it could even push. Yeah, I think that would be right because that would be, if they get into end of July, then that might be about 10 weeks. I think they need a little bit longer. While I like the 45-day stuff, I think in terms of box office, I think they need to get some of these ones a little bit longer legs because I think they cut off Batman in the US by this whole HBO deal. I think that didn't help. Dana says, "Do you listen to the Kingdom Report on the latest live show? It was called Disney Wars. It covered several articles, and one of them that Chapek sabotaged Tom Sachs from becoming." No, I haven't. I haven't heard that one, and I've never listened to them. So I need to put that one on my to-do list. There does seem to be a lot of stuff. I mean, Chapek. I mean, as far as like sabotaging it, there's a lot. That's quite a loaded word there, but I suspect there's a lot of stuff going on backstage with them trying to sort that out. Steven say, "Did you see the new Joker deleted from the Batman?" I did. I haven't actually seen Batman yet. I'm waiting to rent it, so I haven't watched the scene because I haven't seen the new movie yet. So that was why. But I have seen clips. I don't know. Just DC, I just don't know what they're doing with their characters. I just would like them just to have a cinematic universe that you don't have to keep changing Batman every time. Knoxwave said, "We haven't heard any new moves about Mysterious Benedict Society season 2. When do you think they will start filming it?" I believe they've said it was this summer, so we probably aren't going to see it till next year, at least. They tend to go quiet, in like, I mean, there's some of this stuff. If they film it with the correct security protocols, we shouldn't really hear anything about this until they decide to let us know. Okay, so Matt says, "What new Marvel character do you want to see Disney Plus is a show?" Just trying to think which ones. What one could you have? I wouldn't mind seeing like Howard the Duck, kind of extend him out a little bit more. Trying to think who else they could do. I think someone like the Black Knight, the one they introduced in Eternals. I think that might be better as a series. Yeah, I don't know. There's so many characters that they could use, but I don't know. Do we need a series for every single character? I mean, it's one way of doing an origin thing for it all. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of that. They've got so many of them now. I think we're kind of getting into how many more they can do. But yeah, let me know in the comments. What character have we not seen that you'd like to see done? I think with all the X-Men and the Fantastic Four, that just loads up with so much more stuff that they could do. Thank you very much, Lady Jennifer Snow, for the super sticker. Thank you so much for your continued support. That is fantastic. I really appreciate that. That is fantastic. Thank you. Baba said, if Hulu goes to Disney Plus, do they need to add any? I don't know quite what that means. You might just need to rewrite that one. Stephen says, BBC license is a bit outdated this day. Now they've got streaming, get rid of it. BBC does not have many good TV shows. Okay, so let's deal with the first one. So the TV license, if you're unaware and you're outside of the UK, so we pay a TV license here in the UK to have access to BBC. The thing is, it was based, this is like 80, 90, so we have to pay it. And up till literally like a few years ago, it was a legal requirement. You had to pay for your TV license, about £150 a year, if you had a television or a radio. I think mainly if you had a television that could receive content. They've changed it so that you had to be watching. You had to be proven. If you had access to live TV, you had to have TV license. It's very archaic. It's based on an era before streaming. Now, I personally feel like with like BBC Player, I believe you should have to log in with your iPlayer details and turn it into a user account, and you could only access iPlayer on any device if you have got a TV license. I believe that they need to start updating it. They definitely need to update for the modern society. As far as like you saying about the BBC not having many good shows, I would very much disagree. They make a lot of fantastic shows. They have got a rich library. It might not. The amount of shows that I watch on the BBC, there's just so many. I mean, just in the last few months, I can think of, The Tourist. We had Killing Eve. We've had The Death in Paradise. Dynasties is a new animal show. You've got there's so much stuff on there. I'll be honest, if you had to, if they went subscription, for me BBC would be one that I would have. It is an amazing service, and I'm actually quite happy with what we do with it, but I think it needs to be modernized a bit with its funding. But I would completely disagree with there being not many good shows on the BBC. I think they make some of the best stuff that you can get. I'm trying to think like Round the World in 80 Days was one I watched over Christmas. Call the Midwife is another one. Just some really, really great shows. Right. Matt says, is the Neighbours series on Disney Plus? I've not heard of that one before. To be honest, when I thought of Neighbours, I'm thinking of the Australian soap. I've not heard of that one. The Neighbours. Who is that one? So the Neighbours. Let's see where that one is. So it's an ABC series. Depends who actually has the Neighbours. Yeah. I haven't heard of that one. That's new to me. Haven't heard. I don't remember seeing it on anything. So no. Barbara said, if Hulu goes on to Disney Plus, they need to add news and sports. Sorry. Yeah, that's definitely it. I think Disney are very much aware of that. They need to do something with the news side. They've been making a lot of announcements with changes to the ABC where they're setting up, and they brought people in to work on Disney, making their content better. I feel like they've been putting these ABC specials on like Disney Plus, but I think it's such a fast turnaround and stuff. They've not been used to it. There's a new system, but I definitely feel like the news stuff needs to. We need to maybe a live feed of ABC News, and you get all those specials just whacked straight on there, and they are maybe limited. Maybe they were only available for 60 days or something like that, so they don't have to do all like the dubbing and stuff. But the sports is a bit different. They can do something like that with ESPN Plus. Okay, so we've got 5 more minutes, so just keep dropping your questions in. But we're going to stop in about 5 minutes' time. Kelly said, one thing I noticed about the latest Stephen A. World episode on ESPN Plus, they promoted Halo on Paramount Plus. Didn't mention WrestleMania is on Peacock. I'm guessing the show airs outside the US. Yeah, see, WrestleMania is on the WWE Network for me here in the UK. And then yeah, so that's probably why they did it. Joe says, any news on the Hardy Boys coming to? Yeah, not them Hardy Boys coming to Disney Plus International. It is confirmed they are coming to Australia in April at some point. I was just writing something up about them then. So they are coming in Australia. So they are in the flow somewhere now. So hopefully we get like a UK announcement soon. Stephen says Paramount Plus launch will show Sky. Yeah, okay, not quite sure what that one is. Brian says the problem with Paramount launch here is there'll be no NCIS or Equalizer as Disney Plus and Sky have these shows. That is going to be a big problem. And Stephen also he used to love Robot Wars, BBC, Doctor Who, still open. I like Mrs. Brown Boys. I'll be honest, I find that one funny. Yeah, Doctor Who so good. I still open all hours. I really don't like that show. I really don't like it. And Noxwave says, have you seen the Halo series? No, I've not seen it yet. I don't know when does Paramount Plus launch here in the UK. See, I it's like with Halo. It's like I played the games. I don't really need to. Have we got? I don't think we've actually got a date yet, have we? It's just summer. Yeah, so it'll be arriving in early 2022. So without a date, so no, we have not really heard much more about Halo. Right. Well, I think that's probably a good time. Thank you again. So thank you so much for taking your time out your day to join in on the live chat if you're here on YouTube, if you're a member. Thank you again to everyone that's been watching, especially over the last week on the YouTube channel with the website down. But everything seems to be, the website's up. We got all the news, so I'll be jumping into all the news and stuff throughout the week. I'll be back tomorrow with a news episode. We've got like the Oscars and there's a few other things to talk about. And on that note, guys, thank you very much. Again, thank you to everyone that sent in super chats and stuff. Really appreciate that. And on that note, guys, thank you very much. See you guys soon. Laters.